girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex. Dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Sign me up with dreams, the only thing I need. When I'm down, lift me up with your company. There's no telling what you want me creating. We're on the same wavelength. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation, make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money, make you look so lovely. Never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex. Dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. You're my island, tray of diamonds. Big was fake, help me find you. You're a blessing, reminiscing of the time when I found myself guessing. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation, make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money, make you look so lovely. Never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex. Dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Make me go crazy. Make me go crazy.
Rehearsal ruin your night's sleep.
It did, but at the same time I enjoy it because I've seen the history.
And it went on for 5 hours. Military bands, grenadier guards, every regiment. 5 solid hours of marching.
With security and the rehearsal in place, the only worry now is that rain could spoil the parade. Rex Martin.
And we got through it. On the other side. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, folks, if you haven't already. And welcome to the Sunday podcast. It's the day after the coronation and the day of the coronation concert. These celebrities are actually arriving on the red carpet. It might have actually already started, but I am not watching. I did about because I have a VPN, so I can watch it on the BBC player, but I cannot be bothered. I will look at the highlights and the tea on social media tomorrow. So I'm sorry. I will. If anybody did want me to do on the hour coverage, I'm so sorry. I will not be watching the concert. I cannot be bothered, and I'm still pretty exhausted from yesterday, and I didn't actually get much sleep. Do you guys want to know what time I went to bed last night? I went to bed at 3:30. Now, something happened in my room. So I go to switch off the lights, right? I go to switch off the lights, and then maybe 5 minutes after, I hear like, and I'm like, oh my God, is there a rat in my room? Is there a rat in my room? Because it was so loud, I'm telling you, that I could hear it. And I'm in a studio. So it's like I've got a double bed, the bathroom, and like I can see my kitchen from lying on my bed. And then I've got like a sofa next to my bed. So it's like a nice, cozy little studio. So I could hear like, and I was like, God, a rat. And I switched on the light and I saw something small and black running from like the corner of my room to like the bin. And I was like, is that a bug? And so I moved, I got like a slipper because I didn't have any insect spray. So I knew it wasn't I knew it wasn't a rat because it was too small to be a rat, but then it was like it was too big to be a flipping insect. And so I moved the bin and this giant cockroach, one of the biggest cockroaches that I've ever seen, just went like crawling across the other side of the room and like went under the sofa. And I was like, hell to the no. I didn't even think that they had cockroaches that big in this part of the planet. To be honest, though, it is kind of my fault. I think I should have actually just taken the bin out, but I was a bit lazy. I was like, oh no, I'll do it in the morning, but it attracted that one fat ass cockroach. And so I messaged my Airbnb host. Now, not that I was expecting her to respond at like 3:30 in the morning, but as lovely as she is, she actually did respond, and she sent her sister with a giant can of insect spray, and then she like fumigated the whole of the couch. So said cockroach has not been seen. They sent a cleaner to clean the place. Just give it one douse down, and they'll have someone come in tomorrow to put like the powder. Just think. I mean, to be honest, I think it's gone. But oh my god, I didn't think they had roaches that big over here. I was just like, what? Anywho, that was my dilemma, and that's the reason why I didn't sleep very well because I hate bugs and I went to bed late. No, Gia, they did not find the roach. I think the roach has gone. I believe it's gone because I did take out the trash and there's like nothing to attract it now, and they cleaned out the room. They gave it like a good bleach down anyway. Right, that is my horrible dilemma, my first world problem. Let's get into royal problems. Can I also just say before we start, thank you so much to the mods. You did a fantastic job yesterday. There were some trolls in the chat, but they didn't ruin anything for us. I don't know. Luckily, it wasn't a flying. There are flying roaches. Oh my god! You just ruined my whole life. I didn't know that there were flying roaches. 2 seconds ago, my life was wonderful, and now I am aware that there are flying roaches. Ugh. Where do they exist? Ugh. I don't want to go anywhere where there's flying roaches. Jay said the roach was evicted for non-payment of rent. Listen, when I heard that roach scuttering across the floor, because I've got like wooden floors, I honestly thought like it had boots. Like the fact that I heard it, that's how big that freaking roach was. Anyway, okay, let's get to royal problems. Yeah, so tonight is a coronation concert. This AI is getting out of control. Here is Charles with all his celebrity friends. No, I'm kidding. This was AI generated. But yeah, the coronation is done, and I don't know. I don't know how it's meant to go down exactly, what the protocol is, but I had assumed that a coronation for a king was meant to be a joyous occasion. And what's so weird is that the peasants, the subjects, the serfs who are outside in the rain and cold were happier about it than the entire Aristo royal set. Isn't that just so weird? That the actual royals and aristos who were taking part in all of this looked absolutely miserable. Only person that was smiling really was Harry. And I bet he was just smiling because he was like, I'm getting the hell out of here. My man came, gave swag, did his bow, sang God Save the King and went the hell home. He went straight to Heathrow Airport. Oh. But yeah. The concert is today, and hopefully they would have cheered up a little bit more because we're paying for all of this. So you think you could have smiled? And again, I don't like to get too much into people's health and stuff like that. I do like to still have some boundaries on this channel, but Charles did not look good to me yesterday. One can understand the weight of the day, but still, this is something that you've been waiting for 73 years. Barely cracked a smile. I mean, Camilla at least cracked a smile. Charles was just like, it was like he was completely zoned out. It was really, really weird. And there was just something that was so, like we discussed yesterday, dark and dreary. I didn't see this picture until today with Kate and William in the car. In years to come, we're going to find out that things were happening behind the scenes, because she looks like she's seen someone not wearing tights. She looks really upset, and he is just like, can you not start this right now while we're in the carriage? Really, Miss Catherine, I hope it was worth it. I really do hope it was worth it. Because you could have just married any rich aristo and been very, very happy. Marrying into this family was one giant mistake. And it really does seem like there is something going on with Kate, William, and that Rose Hanbury. Now, as far as coronation viewing figures go, The Guardian's reporting that it was about 20 million people. So at the peak, it was about 20 million people. So the most watched broadcast of the year so far, but less than the 29 million people who watched the Queen's funeral, and less than the 23 million people who watched England's World Cup exit against France. Now, mind you, there are 67 million people in the UK. I actually do think that that is a pretty accurate number. I don't think that's overblown. It was always going to be a big event, but I think 20 million is a lot of people, but considering what the event was, I still think that it fell short, and it's still is a reflection of people's lack of interest, because that's not even half the people in the country that were interested in this, and we were given a bank holiday, and it was on a weekend. Also, after the coronation happened down at the mall, there was trash everywhere. Trash absolutely everywhere. You can see one type of trash here laughing its head off, and the other type of trash all over the place, on the floor, people leaving their tents, people leaving their bunting, people leaving their trash. And someone has to come in and clean this. Like, this is not Glastonbury. I don't understand why people who bought their stuff did not have the sense to bring bags and take their trash with them. I think I can even see a cushion there, like the flight cushions that you put around your neck. Absolutely ghastly. The Diana stands were out. Take a look at this. Girlfriend came to slay. and she absolutely slayed. Very creative as well. Very, very creative. Amongst the performers this evening are going to be Katy Perry, Miss Katy. Meghan should have tailored her dress better. Perry having a little bit of a slip here. Hope she doesn't slip on the stage. Katy Perry famously said that Meghan's wedding dress should have been tailored better. Girl, please just sit down. Okay, let's go to your comments. Roseanne, that's why I didn't watch it. I don't want to give them ratings and energy. Yeah. Christina, can you imagine going through that expense again in a few years? Well, that's if we even make it there, to be honest. And I think that a lot of people really put Kate and William on a pedestal. Like if you actually go to royal channels or a lot of these mainstream channels, people who watch those channels absolutely think the world of William and Kate. They think they're perfect. They think that Kate can't put a single foot wrong. They think that she exemplifies everything that a royal rose should. So if at all William and Kate do divorce, I don't know if A, the monarchy is going to survive that, or if B, people will accept William marrying someone else, especially if that someone else is alleged to be his mistress. Unless they can somehow spin it to make it all look very innocent, and I don't know how they do that. I just don't think that if they were to divorce, that the monarchy would survive. So we might not have another coronation. Yeah, Marina, 20 million is not a great number considering the hype of it. Yeah, awesome Diana stan. I love the front of it as well. Comment, it doesn't look like there were a lot of onlookers. Well, I'm still looking for aerial footage because the mall was full because that's where the crowds were concentrated. But I can't find any other footage of like aerial shots to see what London looked like from above. Like beyond just where we saw like the main crowds. And Marina, you said now that it's over, what next? How will the boring royals keep up with modern England? Well, I think one thing you're going to start to see is a lot of this. So today there was also the coronation big lunch at Windsor. So they were out and about. Here's Beatrice and Eugenie. I don't know if Beatrice has been forgiven now, but there they were, walking around, meeting the crowds. And Edwina and Ford Fiesta were out as well. Kate and William were out as well. And this happened, this interesting interaction with Edwina. FYI, the WHO announced that the sea pandemic is officially over. So maybe Edward just didn't really get the message because he wasn't in the mood for shaking anyone's hands.
There are a few people who are not going to give up their places. I can see just disappear.
Honestly, I think that the royals are in a bit of a weird position because they've always wanted to keep this air of mystery, but the modern world requires more interaction and more transparency with the public. And that's just not anything that they've ever had to be, but it's something that came to Diana and Harry and Meghan very, very easily. And so I think that's why you see very awkward interactions like that. They don't know how to be that balance of majestic royals and majestic royals in this modern time that we're in, and they're finding it difficult to find that balance. All right, next thing that I wanted to talk about. Oh yes, the Daily Fail. The Daily Fail are Harry's biggest fans. They're such big fans that they calculated the exact hours that this man was in the UK. The exact hours and minutes. 28 hours and 42 minutes to be exact. And they even looked at the times. Saturday at 10:45 a.m. inside the Abbey. 1:15 p.m. leaving the Abbey. Like, who does this? Who does this? Especially to someone who you think is meant to be irrelevant, who was meant to just end up working at McDonald's. I remember the cartoons, living in a trailer, and you track his every single move. And the fact of the matter is that Harry just came to see, do his duty and go home.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
So you won't get fined?
Just here so I won't get fined.
Does it bother you with all the attention and they just want you to talk when you really don't?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I pretty much know why you won't talk. Is it because you don't trust anyone, or they could misconstrue your words?
Just so I won't get fined, boss.
Are you still about that action, boss?
Just here so I won't get fined.
I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you later, my brother.
Literally. Harry just went for his duty and nothing else. Dawn, after he rubbed his nose, still wanted to shake his hand. Well, that little boy absolutely wanted to shake his hand. Sylvia, Harry cannot trust any of his family members. No, I don't think he can, to be honest. I don't think he can. I wouldn't trust them. I would not. Yeah, Soren, on his big day, Charles did not look like a happy man. He really looked out of it. It was very, very strange to witness. Notice there were no wide-angle shots of the mass crowds because there was no large crowd, and you know someone will have a receipt on this. I hope so. I want to see that wide aerial shot. I haven't seen it yet. Chief of Daily, the royal family are not relatable, just weird. No wonder Harry left. Yes. Incredibly, incredibly weird, dysfunctional family. You just wonder, how is it that Harry came out so good? Black Queen, I thought Harry took American Airlines, not British Airways. Listen, I'm just happy that he got an A plane. Regardless of which airline it was, he got an A plane. And he is back with his babies and his beautiful wife. Thank you so much to Susan H for becoming a member. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, wham bam, deuces. I'm going home to my family. Have you noticed how there's been absolutely no news on the so-called Buckingham Palace attacker? I mean, we were hearing stories of the person had a boom boom and they were throwing cartridges and there was controlled explosions and it was going to be terrible and the horses were going to get spooked and now we're going to bring in the protester bill, and then it just went silent. You notice that? I've heard no updates on that at all. DDD, they are upset that he wears Dior instead of a British designer. Well, actually, I think that the couturier specifically for Harry is British. Let me just, I think I actually had it, but Forgot to put it on the slide. So yeah, it's Kim Jones, artistic director of Fendi, OBE, English fashion designer. And it was, I believe that it was him that did Dior Harry's suit. Yes, so take a closer look at the formal three-piece suit designed for Prince Harry by Mr. Kim Jones to wear to the coronation of King Charles. They're mad about the whole Dior suit because they wanted Harry to be shopping at TK Maxx discount stores so they could make stories about a prince shopping at discount stores and make fun of holes in his shoe. That's why they're mad. But he got with Meghan, and Meghan gave him an upgrade, and they can't write those stories anymore. Becky noticed that Eugenie was trying to engage with Harry, but Harry wasn't really engaging with her because she knew she was busted for hanging out with Piers Morgan and her sister Beatrice. Well, actually, if you watch back the coronation footage, you can see Harry engaging with Eugenie and Jack a little bit more. It's with Beatrice that he's a little bit distant. Melanin, you said, I feel like because Harry wasn't front and center or a part of the ceremonial stuff, it translates to a lot less today. Harry and Meghan hold so much star power, yes. And quite frankly, I'm glad that Meghan's star power was not there. I keep seeing people tweet, oh, it's so sad that Meghan wasn't here. Meghan would have brought her star power. Oh, maybe they should invite Meghan back. No. Meghan is enjoying her peace, enjoying her baby. She can take that star power to her own businesses, to her own ideas, and to build her own with her family. Not with a bunch of crazies who rejected her and wanted her to off herself, and who, to this day, have not said anything to get the British press to back off. They continue to harass her. They continue to incite hatred towards her. They continue to radicalize people against this woman who has never done anything and who they don't know. To the point where there are people who have been had to be put in jail for calling Harry a race traitor for marrying and having children with a biracial woman. And you got Meghan in her own home worrying about whether or not the security system is safe and everything around her house is in check because there's crazies out there who want. There's no reason for her to go back. She's happy where she is. Leslie said Anne was way back at the balcony. Well, just as well Anne was way back at the balcony because she had that huge hat with a feather coming out of it, looking like she wanted to box Napoleon. So quite frankly, it is a damn good thing that she stayed behind. Because if you look at the pictures of them in the Abbey, Anne was sitting in front of Harry, and a lot of the times the feather was in the way, so you couldn't even see Harry's face. And Princess Anne seemed happy to see Harry. Yeah, they were smiling at each other, but honestly now, when I see the way that this family interacts with each other, to me it just comes across as so fake because you don't know what's real and you don't know, what's just them putting on a front. Okay. Next thing that I wanted to talk about, Angela Latrine, our favorite troll, Angela Latrine, she posted this article in The Sun. Prince Harry's swift exit proves we've lost him and we'll never get him back. I think we have finally reached the stage of grief with Angela Latrine of acceptance. I'm wondering if, now that Camilla has her crown, if she doesn't want anything to do with Angela Latrine. Because Angela Latrine, remember, wrote Camilla's biography. And when the whole Pledge Allegiance to the King thing was announced, Angela was one of the royal rodents who came out and said, that's a step too far, I don't like this, which was a surprise. And I also noticed in the lead up to the clowning, there were other women who went around the TV shows defending Camilla. It was mostly Lady Victoria Harvey, Petronella, Bojo's ex-mistress, and that Janine woman who decided to speak on behalf of Diana when Diana can't speak for herself. I didn't really see Angela. And Angela's been one of Camilla's biggest defenders. So I'm wondering if they've had a falling out or Camilla just doesn't need her anymore. And this is why you've now seen Angela reaching that stage 7 of grief of acceptance. We're no longer bargaining, or we're no longer ripping our hair out, throwing a tantrum. We have now reached acceptance. Never thought this day would come. And I'm also wondering if this has anything to do with the fact that Meghan is now with WME, watching herself. Thank you so much, Wendy Lohman, for reminding everyone to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you. Right. Let's see what you're saying in the comment section. Helen, I don't know how true this is. It's been reported following the coronation and photographs there was a family lunch. Charles hosted Archie and wished him a happy birthday. So this is a story that is coming out of the Daily Fail. And so I don't believe that it's true. And even if it is true, and even if he did toast to Archie, well, when Archie and his parents were in Canada and their location leaked, they had their security pulled. At no point has Charles said anything to defend his grandchildren. At no point has he got the press to call off the attack dogs. And he took away Frogmore Cottage, which was the main safe home for Harry and Meghan here in the UK. So really, if he did give a toast, and again, that story came out of the Daily Fail, what does it really mean? Mary, you said, I said before that I trust Harry, that he knows what he's doing. He lived with the beast and he knows how the beast operates. Yes, indeed. And this is why I was never really mad that he decided to go to the clowning. I was never mad, because at the end of the day, this is Harry's family. If Meghan has decided that she's done, she wants to stay away and protect her peace, then Meghan has a right to do that. But with Harry, this is his family. It is not a normal family. And to one extent or another, he's always going to have to deal with his family, even if it's at an arm's length. This is not you and me, the normal folk. This is the British Empire royal family. Okay. All right, next thing. David Beckham. David Beckham really wants his knighthood. So he posted a picture of Charles on his Instagram. Victoria posted a picture of the Spice Girls and Charles. And oh my goodness, they were getting cooked, fried, baked, and salad tossed in the comment section. People were not having it at all. These were some of the comments posted underneath the pictures. Team Diana over here, mate. We're not celebrating. Disappointed in this post. Diana forever. Should be Diana. Camilla is not my queen. Diana forever. Use me as the dislike button. And over 1,200 people hit the like button on that comment. Diana in our hearts. Where's the dislike button? Not my king. Not for me. What a waste of our money. Seems inappropriate to have such an unnecessary and expensive party when the country is quite frankly a mess. There is only one king, Jesus Christ. Don't speak for all of us, David Beckham. And then on Victoria's one, it was Vic, I love you, but Camilla is not my queen. I see no queen except Lady Diana Spencer. Do not celebrate this man. Thinking of Princess Diana. And to go back to that person who said earlier, you know, what do the royals do going forward after the hype of the coronation, after it's died down, after people have gotten their nice dose of dopamine and at the end of the month the gas bill comes, what do? And really it's just left to be seen. But no matter how much the media tries to push that everybody was happy and celebrating and joyful about this, there were an awful lot of people that weren't. There were people who were, and I'm not going to take away from that. I'm not going to say that they weren't, people who were extraordinarily happy that we have a new king. But there were also a lot of people that were not happy. And I mean, I really scrolled down quite a bit on David Beckham's comment section, and I barely saw any comments that were positive at all. And David has an OBE, so he's probably pushing for a knighthood. Okay, and okay, let me go to the comments before we continue. Jackie, you think David deserves the knighthood? Okay, so obviously I'm not for the whole trinket system, is what I call it. I think that, David Beckham, he was a working class lad that worked hard, was a great footballer, and I just think his career speaks for itself. The idea that you then have to bow to someone and that is then the pinnacle, I am against that. But I understand that for some people, they do see the knighthood as an honor. So if that is something that he feels like he wants to be the cherry on the cake for his career, do I think that David Beckham deserves a knighthood in that sense? Yes, because his contributions to sport and as a sportsman, putting Britain on the map in that way, he's one of our best known sportsmen. But I just think that his career speaks for itself. And what is the point of doing all these backflips when just to get a trinket when you're already so accomplished? When these Spice Girls decline, really? Yeah. I mean, it's not like they didn't agree to go to the coronation concert, right? So I was a bit surprised to see her post that. But if I remember correctly, I think Victoria did say that the Olympics at the closing ceremony, that was going to be like the last time the Spice Girls performed, like all of them together. So okay. Right. Next thing that I wanted to touch upon, but I seem to have have I not uploaded the slide? Give me a sec, folks. I think I'm missing a slide. Give me one sec. Okay, so I'm missing a slide, but okay, there was I'll just talk you through it and then play the video. There was a lady, I think she's an actress or a presenter, who was on the BBC giving commentary about the coronation, and she made a comment about the royal family and the lack of diversity in the royal family. I'm gonna play what she said, and then I'm gonna discuss it, and I'm gonna give my point of view on this because I think it might be a bit of an unpopular take. And then, if whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I'm opening the door for anybody to come up and let me know what you think of my perspective on this. Because when I saw this, it bothered me a lot, but I had to sit for a long time and really digest why it bothered me. But let me play the video and then we'll discuss.
There is a bit of me that we've gone from the rich diversity of the Abbey to a terribly white balcony. I'm very struck by that. I'm also looking at those younger generations and thinking, what are the nuances that they will inhabit as they grow?
Okay, I'm gonna play that again.
there is a bit of me that we've gone from the rich diversity of the Abbey to a terribly white balcony. I'm very struck by that. I'm also looking at those younger generations and thinking, what are the nuances that they will inhabit as they grow?
Okay. So a couple of points that I want to make about this. Harry and Meghan, okay, no, but before I even get to Harry and Meghan, the royal family, the British royal family, occupies a very unique space in society because they are an institution that serves a purpose, and that purpose being to uphold the class system. They are also an arm of government, but then they are also a family. And so when we talk about institution diversity, I take issue with her conflating the business institution side with the family. Because if you say to me, well, the royal family, given the history of the royal family and the British Empire, if we're talking about like the work side of the institution, because there's also, you know, the Commonwealth, should there be, you know, diversity in the work side of the institution? Yes, there should be. However, one also has to be aware that this institution has gone out of their way to ensure that that is not the case. If you look at the staff within the royal household, to the point where there are even laws, or they lobbied for laws to make sure that people could not sue for discrimination. And then on the family side, because she mentioned the balcony and the fact that there was no diversity on the balcony. Now you're talking about the family. So we're no longer talking about the royals of the institution. Now you're talking about the family. And the whole idea that you would somehow have like, I don't know, like a diversity quota for a family, I find that a bit odd. And I think this goes to something that I've heard often when it comes to Meghan marrying into the family, that somehow because Meghan marrying into the family as a woman of color, like somehow that this was going to trigger some great change in this 1,000-year-old institution. And I've always found that a little bit problematic because, number one, Harry and Meghan are two people who fell in love. The idea that somehow you were going to undo hundreds of years of history, a very complex history of this family, just because these two people fell in love and got married, I think was very much a pipe dream. That's way too much to expect of these two people. And just because Harry decided to open his mind and become more progressive, it does not mean that his family, and by extension the institution, was ever going to do that. To be honest, at the very most, when I saw that Harry was dating Meghan and when I saw that they were getting married, I thought at the very most they would tolerate her. I never thought that this institution would accept her. Now, did I like accept her fully? Now, did I think that it would get as nasty as it has gotten? No. But I think that for the last 6 years, we have seen how Meghan has been abused. And if the royal institution was ever going to prove that perhaps it can be just a little bit more tolerant and progressive in any way, this was going to be the time. But I also think about the fact that Diana, with all her English aristocratic blood, was not accepted either. So the idea that Meghan was going to be accepted in any way, I don't know, were we just dreaming? Okay, I've rambled on a little bit, but I hope I have somewhat articulated what I was trying to say, and I would love to get your input, and perhaps in all of my ramblings and what I have just said, I guess the question here is, should we still be looking for this institution to change, or have they proven they will never change, they will never move forward, and we should just move forward in the knowledge that that's not going to happen, and act accordingly? Because I saw a lot of people, like, for example, with the choir that performed at the coronation yesterday, some people were very happy because they saw that as, oh, they're inviting people of color into the space, and people from the Commonwealth were also invited. Army personnel from the Commonwealth were also invited. But then you had other people who were like, no, it's just diversity dressing, and why would you be serenading for people who are connected to this institution? I don't. Okay, yeah, that's that's all I'm gonna say on that. And if anybody has any arguments for or against anything that I just said, please do come up, because I'd love to hear your opinions on this. And I will go to your comments as well. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, Iris D on 3 months of membership. Thank you so much for writing that, Church Nelly. Oh, how are you, Church Nelly, by the way? How are you feeling? Oh gosh, 3 of you in the chat. Thank you. Thank you for coming in the chat, because sometimes I find it difficult to articulate these things because they're just such multi-layered, complex issues to digest. And I hope you kind of got what I was trying to say, and why what she said bothered me. Okay, Lightside, I'll let you go first.
Hey, happy Sunday, everyone.
Hey, hey.
I wanna before I tell you what I think about the whole situation, because you added some context after, I want to know if what I understood was correct. So what I heard pretty much the lady say is that the balcony looks awfully white, quote unquote, and maybe in a reference to the lack of diversity that was not there. And I think what I heard you say was, in the way she's looking at it, almost seems as if now that Meghan's in the family and she's a person of color, that there seems to be this this responsibility or presumption per se that since she's been enfolded in the family now, that should be represented automatically. But what you're saying is that there's 2 things going on. There's the business aspect of the royal family, and then there's the personal family stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and should we automatically somehow expect diversity in the family in the same way that perhaps we would expect it in the work?
So the short answer to that is no. This is what I'm going to say. And this is a hard truth for a lot of us to kind of accept or to realize. And I'm saying this because it goes back to Meghan somehow sometimes, by different people being used as representation of all Black people, right? And I'm not saying she said she is a representation of all Black people, but I think sometimes we put that responsibility on her because we see something in her that we can connect to. Now, I'm going to go back and answer your question directly. I think first and foremost, Anne, that you're thinking about this logically in a mature, well thought out way. And we're maybe sometimes expecting others to be on the same level in understanding that or seeing that, yeah, this is a business and then there's a family aspect. I think a lot of people are missing that. A lot of people don't see them as a business, right? Because those fans that you see camping out for days, they're idols to those people. There's no business aspect or component there. They're not thinking about it as, as as much as we're thinking about, okay, we got to understand that this is a business, and they go through the process, they pose, they smile for pictures, they do their charity functions, but at the same time, we understand that the construct of the family, looking out for each other, loving each other, that is lacking, and it has been lacking for probably decades. It's a broken family, and I think that's where the business stuff, when it comes in, when it's not clear where that line of demarcation is, can really mess up one thing or another. When you get into business with your family, you have to have very clear rules. And if you don't have that, you run into issues because people's feelings get involved. So what we're seeing is this thing happening on a large scale. And to answer your question, no, I don't think a lot of people do not look at the royal family and say, this is a business and there's a personal aspect going on. And I think that complicates that answer that you're asking, because you cannot put Meghan going in from the outside. She probably, tried to do as much as she could to fit in, held herself back a little bit because she was like, this is the game they're playing. I need to try to go along with it. But that wouldn't have mattered because of her background and where she came from. So, again, that's why I say the answer is no, because I think it's such an old institution that is set in its ways. And we've seen that they've had difficulties acclimating to 2023 and the moving times and culture. And the younger generation that is seeing them as obsolete right now, they are having a problem stepping into the present. They're still stuck in the past. It's comfortable, it's familiar to them. And in order for them to do that, that would mean enveloping Meghan and trying to really treat her like a family. And as a result, maybe changing some of their staffing and not waiting for the public to be like, hey, y'all only have 2 Black people on your staff. What's going on? Why is the older lady going and touching someone's hair and making a comment or asking, no, where are you really from? Right? Because those cultural conversations and that understanding comes from being around people who are different from you. You learn how to talk to them, you learn how to be respectful to them. And so I think that this is the Obama, a little bit of the President Obama situation. When he stepped in and he got elected, I was personally really happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought in my lifetime I would see a Black president. And it lasted for a little bit. And then I was like, oh crap, what if they assassinate him? Because the reality of the situation is, I understand that there are a lot of people that did not want him to be in that position. Right. And so there's a responsibility on him as a Black person that you're the first one. We expect you to do X, Y, and Z.
And that responsibility is perhaps a little bit unfair on the person, right?
It is, because there's no way they can fulfill all of it. There's absolutely no way. It's impossible. And yeah, I'm going to jump off. I don't even know how long I've been talking, but that's kind of how I feel about that.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Lightside. Because another thing also, not that we should be overly bothered by what trolls say and think, but the comment that lady made, it absolutely triggered it was just all over the timelines. YM Droid, I'm going to let you jump in. YM Droid, are you there? Okay, I'll go back to YM Droid in a sec then. Karen, I'll let you go.
Yeah, hi squaddies. Happy Sunday. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Wow. This is a big topic, really big. And I'm so glad that you brought this up, because I've been dealing with this for the longest while. Wow. A lot of what Lightside said was, great. I'm glad she actually kind of repeat what the woman said, because I didn't really get to hear it clear. But nevertheless, it's in regards to the interjection of, Black people into this family, whether business or family. Yes, I agree totally in terms of Lightside saying that, we all look at this family as a family. The only time, and even the ones that cheer for them and everything, that's how they've been looked at, for a long time. They've never been looked as a business. when that came about is from the Oprah interview when, Harry and Meghan had that interview, and Meghan keeps saying the firm, the firm, the firm. And, that's where, and there was a confusion there. And, when people were listening to it, and that's where people realized that, okay, this is two things. It's not just a family, it's also a firm. It's also a business, and then, Harry explained all this, invisible contract and all these different things. So from then on, people started to see that, okay, there's two parts of this. And, what bothers me today, and it just keeps, it makes me cringe and keep bothering me, it's the way they, from since then, they keep using Black people and interjecting Black people in all this. Like all this stuff that happened yesterday, it's ridiculous. And I was cringing. That choir that was singing that all Black and everything, when they came on, I did not like it. I really did not like it, because if they cared about all people, they would not be doing this. There was no reason for them to be interjecting Black people and to showing that they're inclusive and all that stuff. All the pictures that they're, making sure that they're posing with Black kids and all that stuff all the time, and, interjecting Black people in their thing, trying to, get on with Black people and bring them. It just makes me sick that every single time they turn around, since the Oprah interview and since Meghan mentioned about the percentage of Black people that's working with this family and working in this firm, okay? And she was even focusing on the type of jobs that Black people had in the firm, okay? That was a big issue for her. And that's what she was focusing on, because she said, even if they have Black people working there, they had all the lower jobs, like the service job, like, serving at the table or whatever it is, and they're not being seen. And she said, like, why can't Black people have the position where they're the ones who are traveling, they're the PR secretary or traveling with their subjects or wherever. You don't see that up front there.
So from your perspective, you're of the side that feels that you no longer want, do you no longer want to see people of color involved with the royals then on any capacity, and is that because of what you have seen Meghan go through, and you now feel that when people of color are involved with the royal family, that it's basically just token dressing?
It is token dressing, and I don't feel good about it. And I really don't want to see that, because it's not a good feeling. It's not a good look. And I am so embarrassed by it. I'm so disappointed by it. And I feel it's an insult. This is, every time I see it, I feel so insulted by it. So insulted by it. And it gets me upset. And I don't think that this is something that should be happening. And even so, when they're talking about food banks and helping children and stuff like that, and every time Catherine goes to a school or whatever, it's a Black school that she's talking about, the children brains and all these. Listen, what you're showing me is that it's only Black people has a problem in that country. No, okay. If you go to a school, get with all the kids. Okay, stop taking a picture with a Black child. Stop taking sleeping with a Black man and all these different stuff. It's insulting. It's not only Black people has a problem. And stop interjecting us in your stuff. If you're for all people, be for all people, but stop it. Come on, it's it's very insulting. Anyway, I'm gone.
Okay. Thank you. I'll let another
answer your stuff, but it's big. Talk to you later.
Okay, just to clear up what Karen said, because I think some people may not have understand what she said. She was referring to when William slept He was doing a thing where he was sleeping as a homeless person on the street, and the individual who he was doing the project with was a black guy, and some people felt that it was like using a token black person. That's what Karen was referring to. Just wanted to clear that up in case anybody was confused. YM Droid, go ahead.
Hello and happy Sunday. Yeah, I agree with a lot of the things that Lightside and Karen said. Also, yes, there's no evidence that William had a pulled pork sandwich with the black man he slept rough with. So that's just so that there's no confusion for the lawyers. No, it's tough. I think that Harry and Meghan coming out and speaking out about the difference between the institution and the family is where you get support for them from people who've actually listened. Because one of the biggest things that you heard when they first started coming out, I think, like, even before a lot of this stuff was happening, was, oh, how could you do this to your family? And I think a lot of people were projecting their version of family onto them. And, it helped with the narrative that they were just being difficult or they were doing something, because I think that the story that has built up intentionally through the whole don't complain, don't explain thing is that in spite of them, being in this very weird social status, that at the end of it, like, it was a family that was into it. And I think that what Harry and Meghan have showed or tried to, at least, was that it wasn't that. I think especially the relationship that people thought that William and Harry had never was quite that. Like, they were never really as bonded as people would have believed from some of the stories that were put out there, etc. With relation to diversity, I think that makes a difference as well. So you see that even as slow as they've been to put people of color, especially Black people, into even the lowest positions within that firm, within the business. Perhaps they have a service person of color or someone who wouldn't threaten the hierarchy too much, and they can claim, oh, yes, look, we value all of our members of the Commonwealth. We've even got one or two on staff. Of course, it's never going to be staff that is influential in any of their dealings, or I want to say any of the potentially impactful things that they have to do. And we all saw how Meghan was treated just when she married in, even as just someone who's biracial and not fully Black, that even that was too much. Perhaps not even at a family level. I suspect that some of them, I think Queen Elizabeth especially, I believe at the beginning, perhaps, before, I want to say, the positive media attention came in, I believe Charles, to some extent, accepted her on a personal level as well, or had some positive feeling for her on a personal level. But when that institution kicks in, I think that is where I don't think that you're ever going to see any diversity that is reflective of the institution. And again, the institution wanting to at least put on a facade of some level of inclusion for the people that make up the Commonwealth, that help support the UK. So
who they rule over in some countries.
Exactly. I think, again, they are, and they probably don't consider themselves to have a problem or a diversity issue, because again, if they get one or two faces within the classes that they are comfortable with, where it is clear that they are not on equal footing, that they are not on the same level, like Meghan was, because when Meghan married in, she was above a number of them and she was on the same level as a number of them, and that they couldn't tolerate. And I don't think that they ever will. Goodness help us if George were to decide that he wanted to marry someone who was not entirely English, who was not entirely white. We can all hope that things would progress. I think by that point,
like given everything we've seen over the last 6 years, that probably won't be the case. But
exactly.
yeah, thank you so much, YM Droid. And actually, I just wanted to read this comment because I think this actually summed up what I felt when I heard that lady's comment. She said, thank you so much, JK, for this. She said, I don't expect them to go out seeking diversity for their family. Of course not. But I expect them to accept diversity when it is naturally married into your family. Also, as for the firm, they should have diversity. Absolutely, because if it's a case that they don't want to have that, then what is the point of the Commonwealth still? For me, it always comes back to that question. Why is it that you want to have a sense of ruling over these countries and all the realms? But the majority of these countries are black and brown people, and yet you can't accept it in other parts of your institution. It's very strange to me. I want to say thank you so much to Catherine Reeves for the super sticker. Okay, there's a couple more people in the chat. I didn't know that so many people were going to come up, so I'm very sorry, but I will now cut people down to like a minute per person because I do want to wrap up the podcast. We're going on a little bit longer, and it's really late here, and I'm tired. So like 1 to 2 minutes each, please. And if you go, I'll give you like a bell, and then when you hear the bell, please wrap up your point in like 5 seconds. Okay. Valerie, hey.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you feeling after yesterday?
To be honest, I don't feel I don't feel so good. I just feel that it's just I'm glad it's over. That's what I feel.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot.
I think the issue is that my daughter always says that she eyes Meghan because Meghan should have realized going into a really white family, and I do understand where my daughter's coming from. I think that what I find with the royal family themselves is that I have to say I'm just tired of the clown show. I'm tired of getting these token black people to do this, the singing and this, that, the other. And I think what the time is now is that I realize that these people believe that they are gods. That's what they think. They really do believe there's nothing we can do. They honestly believe they are gods. And as you somebody made a point, if a pure white woman like what's her name, Diana, went in, she was on the right beat, and then they treated her badly. We shouldn't expect anything from Meghan. I thought we liked it because she was a non-white person, and we thought that, well, yes, there is change, but I think what they go to show that they're a very demonic family, and the best thing is, and maybe is right, they've got a lot of blood on their hands. As an individual, I think that Meghan was there to save Harry, and Harry was there to save her and get the family he wanted and to come out. And maybe him coming out, we see them for what they are, and they are just a dark, demonic, evil family.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you so much, Valerie. And to what your daughter said about, Meghan should have known. This is something that I hear often, and I've experienced as a black woman who has had white partners. It's like if you then experience racism, or you then experience prejudice, maybe from family members or even other parts of society, then all of a sudden, like it becomes your fault, which I find weird because I've chosen to be with this person regardless of their race because I love this person, and I think that's the same for Harry and Meghan. They're two people who just met and fell in love. It just so happens that he is from this crazy institution. Just so happens that she is a biracial woman, but to then project your own feelings onto other people like that, I think is very, very unfair. Crack me up, love. I'll let you go next.
Yes. For me, it was more of a reality check. When I started to pay attention to the royal family, it was basically because of Meghan and Harry. And then when I actually got the opportunity to know what these people were all about, I agree with your previous caller. It is very demonic to me, and it is very upsetting to see people of color used in the way that they use them. But with that being said, I think that we all need to face a reality here is that this happens over and over again, but the audacity to do it so openly, it is so corrupt and so scary to me. And I truly believe what Harry said. When Harry said, look what happened to his mother when she was dating, I think he used the term a non-white male. These people are very dangerous to me. And the most important thing that I want to see happen is I just want to see them safe, because this is more than a family and a firm. This is almost like a mob that will kill you to stay alive. And I'm just convinced with what I've seen in the last couple of years that it is so dangerous. So we have to lift them up in prayer, continue to pray for them. As far as this family goes, if I never see them again, I'm okay with that. But I just have never seen anything so blatantly obvious how dangerous they really are.
Well, thank you so much, Crack Me Up Love, for that. Flame?
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm fine.
Hello,
Thank
Squaddies. Hi. I disagree on the premise that there is a family and that there is a institution. I don't believe that. I believe that they are one. I believe that when Queen Elizabeth would come back and not pick up her child and pat him on the head after being gone and gone and gone, when she decided that she was going to back Harry, she's the queen. She was going to back him in the lawsuit. She told her lawyers to do it. They didn't. The firm and Charles went behind her and double-crossed her. So there is no family, really. The family that could be is overshadowed by the firm. They control everything. They control personal, they control professional. That's why her sister wasn't allowed to marry who she wanted. That's why Diana, and they're right, they're dangerous. I still don't believe that was an accident with Diana. When she got with that Arab individual, there was no way they were going to let the heirs be raised by this individual. And that's just my opinion. And as far as Meghan is concerned about when her one of the callers said, well, how could she not know? I get that viewpoint because they're colonizers. The whole institution is built on colonization. So I understand that logically, the daughter is saying, how could she not understand? But Harry is also a part of that institution. Meghan knows how Harry loves her. So she might have thought, well, if he loves me like this, maybe, and she knows how much he loves his family, she probably thought that they could make it, that there would be enough support for her inside it. I believe that's what she thought. And Harry believed that he had a family. I think he's only now seeing that the only remnants of a family he had was perhaps his grandmother. But he understood heart and family from Diana. And when she was gone, I don't think he realized that his family was gone. So I pray for them all the time. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild because I still think some of those children are Charles's children. I still believe that allegedly.
Allegedly for the lawyers listening.
Yes, allegedly. And I think William is being played by Camilla. I think William is going to snap because William is starting to, I think, understand how Camilla has played them. And I want to see the speech he gives to her. Is it supposed to be today? He's supposed to give her
if if he does give a speech, because that was just something that was put in the Daily Fail, we will see that today. But thank you so much, Blaine. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Janet, and no more people in the chat, please. I'm just taking 3 more, and then we will end it there. Go ahead, Janet.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Anne. Hope everybody is well. The only thing that I really want people to start focusing on, that the royal family is never, ever going to accept Meghan, and that's okay. The reason why I say that is, if they accept Meghan as somebody that's even and equal to them, that means Meghan has already conquered. And in the white supremacists or in the white space, that means the fight is over. So because of that, they are never going to accept her. Harry is going to accept Meghan. That's his wife. He loves her dearly. He don't see any difference between black and white. But the only thing, I believe Meghan also already accepted that. They are never going to accept her because of her race. A whole lot of our black celebrities, they all know that already. Just like Maya Angelou say, when somebody show you the first time, you have to believe the first time, not the second, not the third. So we
But
as black people need to
to
start
what
to
you
act.
to what you said though, Janet, I will just interject this
Okay.
slightly.
Okay.
I would say that I would say the establishment,
Okay.
first and foremost, was not
You're
very
right. The
accepting
establishment, right?
of
Because it's not
Meghan,
everybody. Yes.
because and to also add something that Harry said, because of the way they created a narrative that then seeps into some parts of the general public, that creates the environment in which you have all this hate. So I just wanted to add a little bit of context there. Sorry, but go ahead.
It's true. And we as black folk, we have been conditioned just because our past ancestry or what most of us have already experienced. I think I'm just waiting for Harry to get to that point in the middle, because he's still hopeful that his family is going to accept his wife. His family is not going to accept his wife. As a biracial woman, 100% you belong here, and your kids and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. So the most thing that I think what we are doing as squaddies or fans or people that support them, continue to support the cause that they do support, which is humanitarian, and try to be better to ourselves and in our communities and other communities at large that want to be part of that crusade. But otherwise, it's a dead fight with the firm. I'm just waiting for Harry to get to that stage. Say, listen, they're never gonna accept my wife, and it's okay. I need to move on. I see my family when I can. I go there on specific occasion, and that's it. And Meghan is not gonna be harassed until Harry and Meghan are not together. The people gonna still continue.
All right. Thank you so much, Janet.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye bye. Okay, so CC Sun. Go ahead, darling.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I hope you get you some rest after this, because you need it. You've been busy, busy, busy.
Yeah.
I just want to put my little 2 cents in here a little bit on, it's a couple of things. So I'm gonna try to talk fast so I don't mess up anybody else's thing. You have made a comment that should we accept that there's just certain things about the firm that's not going to change. And I always say, and I've taught my daughters who one is latter 30s, the other one is in her 40s, you do not accept bad behavior. Do not accept bad behavior, and do not look at it and say, well, it's been like that for 1,000 years. So, you might as well just go ahead and accept it. And it's not going to change. Do not accept bad behavior. That's why we here in the United States, we continue to fight for our rights, because as soon as you sit down and let them do whatever they want to do to you, it's going to get worse. It is going to get worse, because now there is no limit on how bad they can treat you. So, no, I do not think you should just sit back and say that's the way it is and that's the way it's going to be, because I don't even live in the UK, but the UK is multi-racial with different people of all colors and all backgrounds. And just to say, well, that's the way it's acceptable, they're superior, I think that's I think it's an incomplete idea, because you're looking at yourself as being inferior to them.
To them.
And you
Yeah.
only have one life to live. So why would you walk through life thinking that you are inferior? So do not accept bad behavior. And on the other thing, in reference to Macon should have known, there is no way in the world anyone, and I'm in her mother's generation. And again, I told you I have two adult daughters. They don't even know the full history. They don't know our full history. We tell them it's so much of it. There's no way that you can give them every step of the way. Yes, I do believe that when Megan came into this family, because she's smart and she did her research, but there is no way that she would have known that an entire media industry
Yeah.
was going to try to destroy her. She
Yeah.
already knew, okay, you know what? There may be one or two people that's going to look at me and side eye me, and I'm prepared for that. But this other treatment that she received, no one in their right mind would have thought that they
Yeah.
would have known every step of the way of the
Yeah.
negative treatment that they were going to receive.
Yeah, because we've never seen anything like this or on this show
Exactly.
or anything.
Exactly. And that's
But,
the thing, when a person is being abused, don't blame the person that's being abused. Look at those that are doing the abusing, because they don't see them as a human being. And that's one of the things with the royal family, in my opinion, whether they accept her or biracial or whatever, however you want to look at it, the bottom line is it's human beings. Whether you're black, white, purple, green, orange, Italian, Irish, whatever, we're all human beings. And
yeah.
that's how you can walk down the street and you'll see a homeless person and you step over them instead of just saying, hey, here's $1. And that's because you don't see them as a human being. Now, I can understand everybody in that family is white and Megan is biracial, but she's still a human being. And for you to have such a cold heart against a human being, that puts you in a whole nother level. It's a whole nother level. It's not a black and white. Even when you look in the history with the British and the Commonwealth and all them, those people in the Commonwealth, they were mistreated. Not just, I don't like you because your skin is brown. Okay, but you gotta look at people as being a human being. Okay, and I'm
Thank
out.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trust.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Great points, my TC son. Okay, Mary, I will let you go last. Go on, hon.
Hi. I just wanted to see this comparison with the people that watch the coronation, and this is across 11 channels, 18.8 million people tuned in for the coronation.
Okay.
But Diana, with 2 channels, 31 million people watched, and the Oprah interview, ITV, was the only one who bought the whatever license to do it. 14.9 million people watched it. So that is bad in viewing figures.
Yeah. Joe, that's interesting. I didn't even think of comparing it to the views of the Oprah interview. That's a very good point. Thank you, Mary.
And the whole thing about the concert and whatever, I'm not watching it, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's going on right now.
Yeah, I don't care. than the balcony thing. Um, even what is her name? Dunlop Tesson Dunlop even raised that point that why didn't they see the Commonwealth as mostly black people? Why didn't they mix it up? And what is his name? TB. um, TB said to her, just looked at her like she was crazy when she said it, and I was like, oh, that is a point. Why did they choose black? Well, choose other countries to represent act as page boys, not particularly the black people, but other countries as the um um as they're posing as diversity and stuff like that. That's the point she was trying to make. But
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit, Mary, but thank you so much for calling in, and yes, reminding us about the figures of the Oprah interview. That's a very good point. Thank you. Okay, so thank you everyone for your viewpoints in regards to that video, because it's such a complex and a multi-layered discussion, and I sat with it for quite a while, and I just had to put it out there to you all and get your feedback and how you feel about it also, and I thank you so much for your viewpoints. And with that, I'm going to end the podcast. 1,700 of you in the chat, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, please. And yeah, we'll get through your comments and then we'll call it a day. Coronation concert is going on. For those of you in the UK, we've got BBC iPlayer. I think you can watch it on the iPlayer. I will get all the details and pictures and funny memes and videos for you tomorrow, and then we can discuss it and have a laugh about it tomorrow. But other than that, that's all, folks, and thank you. Oh, did my sound go funny for a second there? Okay, let's get through your comments. Okay. I wonder if we will get a picture of Archie the same way we got a picture of Lily, because I'm still convinced that it was our fundraising that got us that picture. But of course, whatever Harry and Meghan want to do, their kids. And thank you, Lightside, for chiming in, and all of you for chiming in. It's not always easy to talk about these things, and I'm so glad that we have a community that articulates them in an intelligent way, because I never want to be that type of podcaster or commentator that just takes the most extreme position and then just goes to that side, because that's very lucrative, but I don't think that's who I am. And I think if you've been listening to my podcast, I would hope that you get the sense that that's not who I am. Otherwise I'd be sitting here on every single podcast yelling abolish the monarchy. I'd like us to have much more multi-layered and intelligent conversations about these topics, because there is so much within the royal family that you can have conversations about, and then things that branch off that you can have conversations about, not just the actual family and its dynamics, how they interact with the press and how they interact with the government and how all those three things interact with each other. Like, those are the conversations that I love having and that I hope we can continue to keep having on this podcast. So I thank you all so much for being such an intelligent community. Right. So get some tell the cockroaches. Do you know what? It was only one roach. That stupid roach. Guys, seriously, if you saw how fat this roach was, and the fact that I could hear it like it had roach boots on, I haven't seen it all day, and hopefully, if I see it come out at night, at least now I actually have the roach spray. Anyway, okay, let's see. Shade old gangsters and tiaras. That's one way of putting it. Okay, who's going to get the last word of the day? Okay, Julia, I'll give you the last word of the day. Great chat, squad. Be safe. Love wins over hate. Absolutely. Thank you as always, everyone. Go have fun at Barron's. Ciao.
Baby girl, you're so fine. I can't get you off my mind. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex. Dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Sign me up with dreams. The only thing I need. When I'm down, lift me up with your company. There's no telling what you and me creating. We're on the same wavelength. Feel the beat tonight. Something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation. Make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money. Make you look so lovely. Never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine. I can't get you off my mind. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex. Dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. You're my island, tray of diamonds. Big what's fake, help me find you. You're a blessing, reminiscent of the time when I found myself guessing. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation. Make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money. Make you look so lovely. Never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine. I can't get you off my mind. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex. Dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. Ooh, girl, nah, nah.
But they're having a bit of discussion here. I am wondering where the Prince and Princess of Wales are, because they were due to arrive before the King and Queen, but maybe they took a different entrance.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
So you won't get fined?
Just here so I won't get fined.
Does it bother you with all the attention and they just want you to talk when you really don't?
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I pretty much know why you won't talk. Is it because you don't trust anyone, or they could misconstrue your words?
Just so I won't get fined, boss.
Are you still about that action, boss?
Just here so I won't get fined.
I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you later, my brother.